evening, everybody. Welcome to Pub Table Racers. It is the last day of August 31st. And if Warren looks a little older than last time you saw him, because his birthday was Sunday, so we had a small get-together on Saturday and toasted his 56 year of life in a good way. My name's Tim Packman. Sitting next to me is the one and the only
Warren Brazell.
There you go. Warren, first of all, congratulations.
1 year older.
Thanks for being with us tonight.
Tripping you up.
You do. Thanks for being with us tonight. Our guest tonight is Ryan McKinney. We're going to talk about his path from Indiana, correct? Indiana, into the NASCAR ranks, tire changer, Roush, Nice, GMS, and now he's the director of competition for the very popular SRX Series. So look forward to having him on. Why do we have a bucket in front of us?
We have a
Of Miller High Life
in front of us because we like to sit around, chat, drink beer,
It's a pub table.
and talk about racing,
Right.
past, present, and future.
And Miller High Life is because?
Because Bobby Allison is
That's
our
right.
hero, and that is the beer that we drink. Yeah, I have a can. Anybody else running into a problem that bottles are in high demand?
We walked in, Warren's birthday present was probably in here, was an 18-pack of bottles. We walked in and like, everybody's like, bottles? Where'd you get bottles?
Yeah.
Bottles? Now, hi, how are you? But I'm like, so the next day I went to the store and Jeremy and I loaded up a cart for replenish some stuff. And and I went back the next day and checked and there was only
good.
bottles. They only had was Mick Ultra. Anyway, I didn't drink it.
All right, we'll drink. Cheap beer. All right, cheers.
Congrats on your win.
Thank you.
Let's go again.
Ryan Blaney's
Ryan
win and the
back
12 team.
That's right, back to back.
Yep.
Way to do it.
Take that.
Take that, he says. Nice. Suds up, boys. Yep, Jody Bernhardt's in. We'll have to get you back on afterwards.
Yep.
Real quick, let's talk about tonight's show. Ryan McKinney. Real quick in the news. Kurt Busch goes to 23X11.
23X11, Michael Jordan,
2311.
Denny
2311,
Hamlin,
sorry.
2311,
Right. So,
Toyota, another Toyota.
right.
Toyota's bulking up a little bit.
Good thing I like about that is that team now gets a veteran and a champion, and I think he's been doing his best racing the last couple of years. Some of his best racing. Both him as a person and winning and stuff like that. So,
I have to throw my curveball in. Everybody gets a brand new car.
exactly.
Something that nobody has
Yep.
has any laps with.
Right.
So it's anybody's ball game next
So
year.
the experience and everything, maybe some car control, car
It's
feel.
going to be a lot of car control and driver input.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Anyhow, so Bubba now has a teammate that has been through some tough times in his career, and you can lean on him if he has.
Sure.
Let's leave it at that. Number placement. They announced the number, going to move closer to the front. I don't care.
I don't either.
It doesn't matter. It's not
No.
going to matter one flip.
Someone made that comment. I said, please go look at a V8 supercar.
Right.
And a V8 supercar
Right.
has a number that's this big
Right.
on one of the quarter windows, and the rest of the car is a billboard. And if that's what it takes to pay the bills, let's pay the bills.
And how many of you gone to a race going, man, I can't wait to see that number on that
Right.
car. I can't wait to see that 45.
And there's
I can't
one on
wait to
the
see that-
roof.
And there's one on the roof. If you don't like it on the
Right.
side, you can look on the roof. You can
Yeah.
look- I don't care. That's no big deal, folks. Sorry, that's just our opinion. We talked about that Saturday
Yeah,
night.
man, what's the first thing the driver says when he gets out of the car?
Oh, look at that.
I'd like to think Monster Energy, not my number 45.
My guys at the back of the shop. All right, so that's that. Xfinity race, Colleague Racing does it again.
Yeah,
Justin Haley. 3 wide at the end like that. Unbelievable.
very, very organized
Very, yes.
group right there, and it kind of reminded me of the old DEI days when
Okay.
Michael and Dale Jr.
Sure.
would work together.
It's
That race was actually on the
yeah.
night before, and I
Right.
thought of that.
Yeah,
and
a
all
lot of
that,
people
you know.
loving that race. Yeah.
So yeah, but them guys, they showed everybody how to do it.
Well, and now they're getting ready to go cup racing. They already have a cup win, so they're kind of like going in with a lot of
Right.
confidence. But like you said, new car.
New car,
That's it. We'll see.
take turns.
Take turns.
If everybody takes turns, we can all get one.
Can I leave
Right.
now? Sure, go ahead, Bobby. All right, so we got that. A disqualification after the cup race. Let's go to that. Good race? Did you think it was a good race?
Yeah,
Okay. I like the fact that the playoff drama was on the line. I like the fact that at the end it could have been Corey LaJoie, it could have been Matt DiBenedetto, it could have been Bubba Wallace, it could have been... But they robbed themselves that opportunity because they can't get out of turn 4 without messing each other up.
well,
Just one time, I don't know. I want to see him go. I want to see him race to the finish without the damn.
yeah, and I get that.
That's all I want.
You know, so here's what I'm going to say about it real quick. Did anybody notice that they slowed him down?
Nope.
No. Right? But nobody went upside down and nobody about got killed.
Right.
So that's way better. And nobody even noticed that they were a lot slower.
Right. But I mean, the competition, it's all about side by side.
Right.
And
The runs weren't as good because of the fact that they took so much horsepower away.
But when your guy got out there on the backstretch, like, ooh, he's out there way too far. But they caught up to him, but he was
And the
able to stay
runs
out
weren't so because they took the power away, he could get out that far, and the runs didn't come anymore. So he had more time to do his block and stuff.
Got it. So I thought it was a good race. The drama was good. At the end, Tyler Reddick takes a beat up number 8 car and qualifies for the playoffs, and his poor teammate Austin is sitting like this, left at a 45-degree angle, hanging on track. That's plate racing. That's all I went. So now the playoffs are set. They start this weekend. Should be pretty interesting. 3, and then they cut the field. I like the playoff format. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem.
It's kind of like it is what it is, but you're supposed to be sticking ball sports. I don't like the days when I always use Jeff Green, 631 point advantage in the then Busch Series. Like, why do you watch the last race?
Right.
You didn't have to start it.
Some people complain like the fact that last year Kevin won 9 races and
Didn't make the final.
didn't make the final. There's plenty of times when your football team might go undefeated in regular season and then not win the Super Bowl. So
Patriots a few
that's
years ago.
just the way it is.
There's been one perfect
And
season.
win out
Football.
if you want to be it.
That's it. Okay, we covered all that.
We got it.
Okay, that's it. All right. The disqualification. The 17 car.
17.
Thought he finished second. Thought
Thought he finished.
second.
Drug way too much of the bottom of his track bar mount off.
So the track bar mount, he got disqualified. Explain.
There's a rule on there's a length rule that they have on a track bar adjusting piece, and on the bottom of it, everybody rubs the racetrack. They give you a minimum on what you should be when you're done with the race. Everybody kind of pushes it. When you watch the start of that race, that car is sparking all the way around. He drug way too much off. They didn't have their heights right. Could they have come in and put rounds in it and got it back up off the ground? Was it an oversight just because no practice?
Right, sure.
But at any rate, he was illegal because he had the car was basically too low in the back and it drugged him out.
Well, it's not like you had your deck lids all goofied up like the 34 and then was it?
Whatever they were doing, I heard a little bit on that, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole story, so I'm
Kind of
staying out of it.
Two crew chiefs before the race, like, yeah, you're out of here. Your cars are not legal at all. That's just tough. All right, shall we?
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming now to the stage, the one and the only from Indiana, former tire changer for Roush Racing, GMS Racing, Nice Racing. Now he is the director of competition at the SRX Racing Experience, Superstar Racing Experience, Camping World. Okay, the sponsor in there. Ryan McKinney, come on up.
Our
Grab
first,
we'll trade out.
our first SRX
Our
guest.
first SRX guest.
That's
right.
He's pretty tall. You don't need a.
I don't know. It's good.
Alright, hey guys, hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
How's it going?
All right. Good.
First of all,
Good.
Could we offer you a Frosty Miller Highlight?
Absolutely.
All right.
This is
You got it?
Cheers.
Sick, okay. We have some people that bring their own something.
That's perfect. I come bearing gifts.
Okay,
All right.
let's do a cheers. Let's do the welcome cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Okay, what do you have there? Let's trade them up.
Got you a couple shirts here.
All right.
Okay. Hold 'em up.
SRX shirts and
Wow, those are way nicer than we have.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
know.
if you got
Under
if you guys
Well, we
have,
we have just-
hero cards
hero
or
cards, look at
anything in
that.
here or
Oh,
something.
look
Look
at
at that. Hey, look at that.
We don't have a lot of stuff left.
This
but
is awesome.
Oh,
Thank you.
got-
my kids are going to be fighting me to wear this.
Yeah, I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about that.
Those
are very
These
nice.
are nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is, you know what this is? First of all, thank you very much.
It's wiki.
One less day of laundry.
It is wiki.
Is
Thank
there-
you, guys. And here you go, my friend. We have for you.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
There you go.
Love the show. Now I got a shirt.
You got a shirt.
SRX, their Wisconsin made it on
Uh-huh,
there.
there
Look
you
at
go. All right. Well, let's.
All right.
First of all, thanks for being on. Okay, let's
Yeah.
start. We go like to start where you started from, how you got involved.
Yeah.
What was your beginning in back there in Indiana?
Beginning, yeah.
Not like I was born. You know, let's not go back that far.
Yeah, we won't go back that far, but basically, when I was around
You ever scooch up in there?
Yeah, come on in and don't be afraid
Hey,
to
so let me hold it.
talk as loud as us.
9, 10 years old, my uncle built a sportsman car, right? He was a welder by trade, fabricator, welder at a local metal shop, and him and his buddy built a race car, Anderson Speedway. That's where I'm from, Anderson, Indiana.
Okay.
high bank quarter-mile track, a lot like Slinger. It's really a lot like Slinger.
Absolutely.
We raced that in the series. That was our little track, and he built a car, so he actually lived 2 miles up the road, so every day after school I would ride my bike straight there. I was ate up with it, right? There was a race car, and I'd go do whatever and learn. Went to the racetrack with him for several years, and that just kind of, I got to know people. There was a local hot shoe. The local guy that was probably the best around in the late models, Brian Reedley. Him and his dad, Bill Reedley. His dad won several back when they had the Winston crew chief, Winston, wrench of the year.
Okay.
Award guys.
Yep.
He'd won several of them. He was the hot guy, and I teamed up with them, and he got a couple rides. We went and ran ASA for a little bit, and ran the All Pro Series when it was a touring series for NASCAR, and did that. And I decided that I wanted to race for a career. I didn't like school a whole lot.
Right.
It couldn't hold my interest. I loved race cars.
I always
and
wonder
racing.
how many guys that are in racing like, school's my favorite topic. I love school. I want to put
Well, all of the engineers.
All the engineers.
All the fab guys or wrench guys were.
Yeah.
Man, I hated school and I just wanted to go.
Everybody else loves shop class, right?
Right. Yeah.
We cut things
Yeah.
around.
I learned how to weld when I was 13.
Shop class and cheerleaders, but anyhow, yeah.
Yeah, so worked with them for a while and decided, hey, I want to try this, and me and actually a guy there local had put this guy driving his car. They owned a car lot. They rebuilt wrecked cars, and I went to work for them in the body shop during the day and worked on building their cars at night, and they put some money into it. We ran the All Pro Series with Brian Reilly for a while, and then Jeff Foltz.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
guys probably
Okay.
heard of him.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Local guy. Me and him were our best buddies, and took care of his cars for a long time, and then that deal kind of fizzled out. And me and the other guy that we're working on said, hey, we had, I think,
How old were you at this time?
probably 23.
Okay, got it.
I think, we had $2,500 each.
Sure.
I packed up my short bed Chevy truck. He had a Mustang GT.
Right?
We drove down south here with no job. We lived in a hotel in Statesville, a ratty hotel. Oh, it was
gonna
rough.
ask you.
On bad side of town.
Okay, but you know what? You set your mind to do something. You knew you had to be here to be here.
Right.
To do
That's
it,
right.
and you set out to do it.
It was a spot to be.
Yep.
Race City, USA. This was in the 90s. This was
Okay.
I moved down in 96, 97. we
Okay.
came
Okay,
down.
that's when I came down the first time.
So it was still strong, still
Oh yeah,
pumping.
it was about just getting really
Yeah.
rolling. Yeah.
So we had a job. We got a job with Donnie Allison.
Had
Had a small truck team.
Yep.
Blake Bainbridge, I don't know if you guys know him.
I know
He was
Blake,
the
yeah.
driver. He was like 16 years old at the time.
Like the black
Alabama.
Steve Walsh all the time?
Yeah.
The black
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So he was out of Alabama, part of the whole Alabama gang
Yep.
thing, and he was going to be the next superstar. And he teamed up with the guy Wilbur Bunce, and they had a Derek Cope's. They were renting a spot out of Derek Cope's shop
Okay.
there in the drag strip.
Yeah.
And we made $100 a day cash.
$100 a cash.
Yep.
That's $500 a week.
Yeah. We went in there, we prepared, and we went and ran a few races. Ran pretty good, but they didn't have money for a full season.
Yeah.
And actually, a really good. I had a connection. I had one
And
connection.
you find as you spend more time, you got yep.
Terry Wooten is from my same hometown. He's
Why
from
do I
Muncie,
know that
Indiana.
name?
He's a
What
lot.
was he working for?
He had been a crew chief at Haas Carter.
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I know
Name
that I
rings
know
a
all
bell.
He
of
had
them.
worked for
Yeah.
Junior Johnson. He'd been around
Yeah.
a long time at the time, and he ended up being a spotter. Spotted for Tony
Okay.
Raines a long time, and
Okay.
spotted for a lot of people. But he got me a job. He had been a crew chief at Jasper, but he wasn't anymore. But he said, "Hey, I know the owner, Marquera. He's looking for some people." He
Yeah.
called him. Marquera called me up, and I got pretty much hired off the phone. So my first job was at the Jasper 77 Cup team.
What'd
and
you do for them?
I was just a mechanic. I
Okay.
kind of did a little bit. Back then, there was not all the specialty stuff.
No.
One day
Yeah.
I was putting motors in.
What was he wearing? He was
He was a roofer.
which man?
Everything from the roof down.
There you go.
Get that line in every
Right.
You walked right into that. with that.
Well,
Because everybody we
the racing has
have,
changed a lot. Right?
it
I
has
mean,
changed a lot. But guys, that when we get a guy on like this that has been doing this since the '90s
And done it all.
and because you had to.
You had
You know
That's what you had to do to get a job.
That's
back
right.
then.
And when you were finished with making a window or making a side skirt, you went and helped paint the car,
Right.
or you help put the motor in.
That's
or-
what put it over the edge. I had body shop experience, and they always
When you
needed
drive
body
trucks,
shop.
it's body work.
If you were a truck driver or could help in the body shop, man, you
Yes.
were
Oh,
in.
you're hired. Right.
That's why I never got jobs.
If you related to baseball, you were a utility man.
Yes.
So,
Perfect. Yes. All right. So your career's going along, and all of a sudden you're working in the shop. When did the over the wall begin?
so I'm working at Jasper, you know, and
And you get the hey man, we talked.
well, I had changed tires back in ASA and all those,
Yeah.
but it's a lot different deal
Way
than the
different,
NASCAR.
right. Wide
thing,
five
right?
and-
You know, it's
yeah.
wide five, and we were doing minute pit stops
Right.
or whatever, right? So, but I was a young guy. I was 23,
Young enough,
24,
in shape.
and I'm in shape, and I was an athlete the whole time. And so I'm like, I can do this, right? So I kind of tried out, and they were like, no. I remember Ryan Pemberton. He's one that inspired
Okay.
me by telling me I couldn't
couldn't
do
do
it.
it. Yeah.
We had cameras set up out back. So
Yeah.
every day after work, I made that my mission. I'd go hit lug nuts every night.
Mhm.
I'd run around the car. I'd tell myself. I'd videotape it. And I told myself, I'm going to practice till I'm so fast that there's no way they can tell me I can't
Right.
do it. And eventually I got there.
How long did it take from the time they told you no to the time you? And I'm asking
The
because
next season. It was
Okay,
probably a
right.
7-month span.
You worked that
7 months. So
Yep.
worked your ass off,
Yep.
when
right?
people are into this instant gratification now, I'm just trying to point out that took you 7 months to get where you want to go.
With
It wasn't-
prior experience.
With
That's
prior
not starting
experience,
from
exactly.
ground
Right.
level zero.
Right.
Yeah.
You've hit lug nuts on something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Bryce Bratton says hello.
Hey, Bryce, he's one of my guys.
There you go.
So, one thing I'll say about what he's saying is this wasn't a GoPro out there. This was a VHS probably.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Old school
old school
pictures. They were big.
Yeah, or a beta
Yeah.
cam, or it was on tape.
Right.
Yep.
And he had to
Rewind it and then tape it.
Yeah.
And kind of with my stopwatch is old school stuff.
Jody Barrett says, "What's up, T-Roy?" Kyle Browning, question for you: childhood neighborhood trivia. Timmy Turner, Brady Graham, and SRX cars. Who wins? You gotta explain that.
Oh, that's a buddy of mine from way back.
Good.
BMX. So I raced BMX as a kid.
All right.
All right.
Me and this guy grew up together. Baseball, BMX, everything, and we jump anything. We'd set up
Evil
jumps
Knievel.
and jump over kids,
There you
bikes,
go.
cars, whatever it took.
Been there, yep.
Timmy Turner and Brady Graham. That's a tough question.
Call it a top.
I'm going to call that
There you go.
a toss.
I'll save you. I'll
Toss,
save you.
yeah, that's a tough.
TJ Fleming says, "Cool breeze."
TJ,
Okay.
another co-worker, another great guy. He's over
Some-
there at DGR putting in work.
All right.
What's up, TJ?
Some good-looking woman named Kim says hi.
Oh, my wife upstairs. She must have made it.
Oh, hey, Kim. I don't know you yet.
You're like everyone else. They meet her on the way up. 'cause they get home from work, right? She's like, my husband's downstairs drinking beer, being Indian in the basement, and I meet these people on the way up. That's perfect. Chase Briscoe, hi, how you doing? Mike Wells, how you doing? On the way out. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, so you're doing that, and now you're changing tires, and you're at Jasper, right?
Yep.
Okay, and how long were you there for?
I was at Jasper's for
Who's driving? Was
Who's
Bobby
driving?
Hillin driving?
Robert Presley was
Presley was
driving.
driving. Okay.
I think he left when I was there, and there was a couple fill-in drivers.
Yep.
And then
You guys went through a few there.
Jasper, yeah.
That was a 77, right?
Yep. I
Yeah.
want to think Dave Blaney was there when I left.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I moved teams to accelerate.
Absolutely.
Everyone,
Yeah.
So at that point, I was doing the pit crew
And
thing.
that's the time, folks. This was the era of the toolbox
And
derbies
You
and
roll out
stuff.
for
I
51
mean,
bucks a week. You
right.
The joke was, and you were around, but the joke was, if you wanted a raise, you went to work
You
for
had to
your
leave,
team.
yeah.
And you could literally roll your toolbox across the street, because back then there was
Yeah.
50-some Cup owners, another 50-some Busch Series
People not
owners.
making the races. Yeah.
There's teams everywhere.
Right.
So, and they were, if you had any experience, if you were a good hard worker,
Yeah.
they'd pay to get you on payroll.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was doing the pit crew thing. I felt like I'm in there, right?
Right.
I can change tires. I'm in. My end goal was to be a crew chief. So to be a crew chief at that time, with not an engineering background,
Right.
not a shop building background,
Yeah.
you had to become a car chief. So that
Yeah,
was my,
yeah. So that
I
was your
left
first
there.
goal.
That was my first goal. Left there and went to Base Motorsports, who
Wow.
had won Busch championships
Yep.
with Randy LaJoy and such. It was pretty good at the time. Went there to work to be a car chief. And
All right.
tire
Is it
changer.
Fina was the sponsor?
Fina Lube.
Sir-
Yep, so
74?
I went there to work for Tony Raines.
Okay.
That year was the 33.
All right.
Alka-Seltzer, aspirin.
Yep.
Yep.
Hot Rod magazine was on
Yep.
for a few races.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bringing back some memories.
Yeah.
All right, so you went there to be car chief,
Yep.
and so you were there for how long was that?
I was there probably it was 2 or 3 years.
Okay. So then,
I think when I left there, I'm trying to think.
They had 2 cars, right?
They had 2 cars.
Because when you said
When I went there, the second car was not full time. They were
All right.
trying to secure sponsorship, and then when I left, Chad Little had came in.
all right,
74 car was the second car.
mhm.
They were trying to run
I don't know.
full
I was
time,
thinking
and then they
Fido,
kind
but that
of
ain't.
Fido had already left.
Okay,
when I went
all
there.
right.
Okay.
They wanted to go cup racing
Oh,
with probably not
they didn't have the
enough money,
Right.
Which was probably the downfall of the company.
Yeah.
Which has been the downfall of a lot of
You
teams.
know,
yeah.
they had enough money to do what they were doing, hoping to secure the big sponsor, and never did.
Right.
Bill
The
was doing
difference
all out
back
of
then
pocket.
with trying to go cup was now everybody gets an affiliate, right? Now when you want to go cup racing,
Mm-hmm.
you know when you're the 99, you go to Childress,
Right.
you know. And back then there was nothing like that.
No,
That
you were all on
you
your
were
own.
on your own.
You were on your own.
You were just gonna move up the cup and have at it,
And you had to qualify in.
and you had to
Yeah,
qualify
there's
in.
No,
So if you weren't an affiliate, you had to go do your own wind tunnel
Right,
testing,
yeah.
you know, on track testing, all these things. And
Yeah,
if you didn't,
it was
do
tough.
Good, it was tough. It was tough for sure.
So okay, let's go Roush. When you went to Roush, how long were you there for? That's
Roush,
probably
I was
the
at
longest-
Roush like 8
8 years.
I was there from 2004 till 2010 or something
Okay,
like
and
that.
is they were tire changer and mechanic the whole time?
Tire change the whole
Who were
time.
some of the drivers you worked with?
So when I went there, it was Biffle.
Yep.
I went to work on the 60, which was the Busch Series car at the time. Charter was the sponsor.
Yep.
Biffle was in it full time that year. Then the next year, Carl Edwards rookie year,
Yes.
which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We won 5 races that year. You know, and if you remember, that year was not only his rookie Busch year, he got thrust into the Cup car when
Yes.
Jeff Burton left.
Yep.
Right.
So he won his first Cup race and Busch race in the same weekend in Atlanta with us.
That's right. Yeah, he was great.
Nice.
Did the double backflips. So
Toby Wielden said, "No longer cool. It's RMAC." Cool breeze. Okay.
Toby was an old
Uncle
spotter.
John. Yep. All right.
He was a spotter at Roush with us.
Steph says that's my aunt. Jimmy Smith. Ask RMAC why he always made Cheddar work in my room at Roush. And Cheddar is
Cheddar
Bob,
Bob.
car
yep.
chief.
Yep.
Kevin Harvick's car
Kevin
chief.
Yep. Robert Smith,
So-
29.
Yep.
Just to touch on that a little bit, when I was at Roush, Cheddar Bob comes in as a 20-year-old guy, I think, a tire guy, fresh from
Yep.
Michael Waltrip, a year at Michael Waltrip or something as a tire guy. Young kid. Obnoxious,
Knew everything.
loud,
He's
knew
from
everything. You never had to worry about what Cheddar Bob was thinking because he had already told you. And people loved him or hated him, right? And, you know, he was my tire guy. We did 2, 3, 4 years together, and then he has since went on in a multi-time Cup car chief champion
Yeah.
for Kevin Harvick. I'll hang my hat on that he started with me.
He learned
and
from you.
I taught him
You taught him everything.
There you
I
go.
don't say I taught him
All right.
everything, but
No.
Cheddar Bob learned at least.
But you helped them.
There you
And
go.
we were roommates on the road.
Oh,
So,
God.
so another show down the road will tell some of them
We
stories.
get Cheddar on it.
That's like an off-season show. We don't get around to him.
Yeah,
Just let it rip
exactly.
and shit. Nobody cares. Tim Sheets says, "Hey, cool breeze." All right, so from Roush, and then you go to some of the other teams. Talk about GMS and Nice and everything. And how long was we there for a while?
So Roush, you know, kind of at that time I had kind of done the Cup deal for a while. I really didn't want to go Cup racing. Roush kept coming up, "Hey, we want you to go to this Cup team. We want to move you." And then I really kept putting it off. I liked Sundays. Sundays was the day I got with my daughter.
Right.
So I kind of kept putting off the Cup deal, and you know, I think we had 5 Busch teams at Roush.
Yeah.
at one
Oh yeah,
time.
it was.
Yeah.
It,
You know, at the
they were-
height,
they
and
were
then-
booming. Yeah.
Right, 2008 comes the crash.
Right.
Sponsorship dollars
Yep.
crash.
Away.
Everybody's downsizing. And I didn't move to the Cup shop. I'd been there the longest. You know, was probably making more money than the other car chief there. So
Yep. That happens.
I obviously got cut. I think I left there and went and ran one season of trucks at Ultra.
Ultra there, Jimmy
was
Smith.
Andy. Yep, was Andy
Okay.
Houston's truck chief.
Jim
Dennis
Smith,
Connor
truck.
was the
Yep.
crew chief. That was wild and wacky. And then what did I do then? I had to go to. I went to Rusty's for one. So
Okay.
this is the time period after 2008. I had worked
Right.
long periods at places.
And then it's the hopscotch.
And now it's becoming because of first of all, because of the economy.
The economy and the sponsorship.
Right.
I went to Rusty's, had his Bush team, and worked there a year, and that operation shut
Right.
down.
Yeah.
I got picked up. I had worked with Mike Beam at Roush. He was the competition director and crew chief there. Kyle was going to start an Xfinity program at KBM. I don't know if you guys remember, but
Yeah,
the very
I-
first year a Monster car was in Xfinity, it was under the KBM
Oh,
banner,
that's right.
the 54 car.
Who drove it?
Kyle and Kurt shared it.
That's
year.
right.
Yeah,
they did. They
I-
both did.
I remember
Okay,
that.
yeah.
So that was a startup at KBM. Mike Beam called me up. Me and Joey Cohen, who had both worked with him at Roush, went over there, and it only lasted a year. A lot of people that deal was not as successful as I was hoping it to be.
Yeah, because you think, I'm set again for a little while, right?
From the outside looking in,
Yeah.
everybody thought we had the Gibbs support,
Sure,
right.
but
Gold.
Gibbs was not happy about it at the time. They did not want to race against Kyle
Why
because
not?
Kyle was leaving their Bush cars
To go
coming
race-
to his
yeah.
and race against them. So we had no support from Gibbs. We didn't have Gibbs or
Yeah.
Toyota
Toyota backing.
backing or horsepower. We had
Yeah.
Triad engines.
Okay.
So
Right,
it
you
was
got
just
some comment. Go ahead.
it was kind of a flop.
Well, and you know what? And that's the way the sport goes. It's not just. And
Yeah.
it sucked. We've all been through it.
We won one race.
There you go.
It
Congrats.
was the 1 year Kyle Busch didn't win an Xfinity race, right? I got that
Yeah.
hanging over my
Yeah,
head.
that's all
Kurt
right.
won the race. And at the end of the day, Gibbs sweetened the pot enough to take the
To
monster
pull it.
sponsorship over
Yeah.
there and get that program back.
So what a lot of people don't know about that is that you guys were almost doomed from the beginning because everybody only sees the top layer of the
Right.
cake, right? Oh, Kyle and Kurt and
Monster.
Monster
Wow.
and wow,
Yeah.
we're good. This thing's gonna kick butt, right? And they didn't see what is going on
Struggle
behind
behind
on the
It
background.
was one of my biggest, oh gosh moments.
Yes.
because
Oh yeah.
I-
We all have them.
I went to work with the winningest driver
Yeah.
in Bush Series history,
think
thinking,
it's
man, this is,
slam
and
dunk.
we're going to add Kurt,
Yeah.
and they're going to share, and it just, we started late.
Yeah.
We went and ran the first couple races with used Rusty Wallace cars that we had to buy that was left over because we couldn't get cars certified and through the process. And
I've got a couple comments here.
Go.
Tracy Ramsey said, "S Sunshine." I guess that's you.
so
Wait a minute. Let me finish. S Sunshine he still wears his Tampa Bay visor. Answer it quickly. Here we go. Yeah.
all right, I still have it. I
Okay,
haven't
got it.
wore it lately. I have been referred to as look like a John Gruden, especially.
All right.
Oh, I get it.
Visor,
Yeah.
wash, and the headset and the visor.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see it. Yep.
I bet you get a look on your
But
face.
you're
You
in a
get a
lot
little
better
chucky
shape.
look.
You're in a
Yeah.
lot better shape than he is.
Yeah, Gruden looks like me.
And my wife always tells everybody you can
Your
tell where somebody, how long they've known me by what nickname they give. so far we've heard Cool Breeze, RMAX, Sunshine.
Sunshine.
That's the different stages of where people name us. So that's how that works.
And there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
And we both know Tracy really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
good
He's
guy.
a super good guy.
Yeah. Okay, so the other teams. Let's go right now. Let's get where we're at.
Yeah.
So the SRX experience comes around. I don't know what you're doing before you went there.
I was at Nice,
Okay.
crew chief in a truck, and that was kind of,
Sure.
Up and down.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So SRX comes around. Unknown entity. Big names. Tony Stewart.
Ray Abraham.
Ray Abraham. CBS Sports. Da da da.
Right.
You get named director of competition. I go, wow, that's pretty cool. First of all, a lot of people really don't know, what does a director of competition do? What is your responsibilities with that?
I mean, I think the director of a competition at maybe a NASCAR team has slightly different
Mhm.
responsibilities as mine, but basically what that title meant at SRX was I was in charge of developing the race car
Right?
that we were
Wow.
going to race,
Yeah.
and then building, once we developed our prototype
Right, I saw
and
one
what
too,
it would
yeah.
be, building how many ever more we deemed, and getting all that done and put out on the track. I was basically in charge of everything race car shop, development, testing, building.
Were you like employee 1 or 2?
I was so Ray is ground zero.
Right.
Him and the partners. I was employee number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have background with Ray or Tony?
So
Or how did you land that?
I had knew Ray from social situations. I had
Okay.
never worked for him in the past. Our wives are good friends.
Okay.
We share a lot of common friends.
Yep.
Martin and Sherry,
True.
Truex,
Yep.
would be at parties or events with them. I was around him, but never worked with him. And I had actually interviewed with Ray the year before about coming to work for him personally at his personal shop.
Oh,
down
for
in
all the
Colorado.
cars he has?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was doing some personal racing
Yep.
himself, and it just kind of the deal couldn't. We decided it really wasn't that great of a match.
Right.
And then when the SRX deal came around, he gave me a call back,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a good match.
Yeah,
I was totally looking for something different, and this was
This was totally
it. And it was.
So
worked
now
out.
that you told us you're employee 1, what type of pressure, how daunting was that to like, hey, we're starting this whole new thing, this cool looking car with a wing on it, and
Right.
we're gonna have all these drivers from different entities. And by the way, Sunshine, Ardmac, all these names, it's all on you to make sure it works.
So I kind of underestimated it all at first because I'm like, well, I'm going back to my roots. It's all based around a super late model type.
Sure.
car.
Yes, notice that.
There ain't gonna be
Coil over 4-link or a coil?
coil over 4-link car. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all Fury built a chassis
Yep.
for us, and it's a design based off of their super late model that's just kind of straight up, even up. It's built like a road course car.
Right, and they've been very, very successful.
Very
with this.
successful.
Going back to another old friend of yours in
Jeff Foltz and
Jeff
Tony
Foltz,
Geary Jr.
exactly,
yeah,
there we
who
go.
I had background with both of them.
Good.
Over there. So that
Circle
that was
continues.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And coincidentally, when Ray hired me as employee 1, there was 2 deals he had already done for the SRX deal, and that was the engine deal
Okay.
with Ilmore
Right?
and the chassis
with
supplier with Fury. So
Fury.
it's not like I come in and signed up my buddy. Ray did his due diligence
And you
and
said,
Right.
Okay.
talked to people and
Good.
had that already signed up, and it was a perfect fit, obviously.
good.
So as these
Good
cars
for you.
are being built, and here comes the body. If someone wants to know what RJ Folk, I hope I'm saying that right. What inspired the body style of the car?
That was all Ray.
All right, in his mind, what he had.
It was all Ray in his mind, and you can see from the design of the car, it's got a little bit of Superbird in
Mhm.
it with the hood
Yep.
and the nose slope and the louvers and the wing.
Love the wing.
It's got a little bit of Dodge Challenger in it. It's just kind of got a little bit of everything that he liked in race cars.
Sure.
And he sketched it out on a piece of paper and handed it to a rendering artist, and the first rendering came out of that.
So I'm not an engineer, but I am a self-proclaimed aero guy. Been doing the aero stuff for my whole career, and I'll say that I look at what he's done with that thing, and I see a lot of advantage. He put up a lot of advantage, even though it's very short track racing, but he made a lot of advantage to work for as much good aero as he could.
His whole focus was, because
Speak up just a tad.
for the people that don't know, Ray was one of the huge players in IROC.
Oh yeah, that's where you got to
So
start.
You are the new Ray
And that's what when he would introduce me to people, he would say,
Wow.
he would literally say, "This is Ryan, and he is the Ray Evernham
Yeah.
of SRX."
Jeez,
like
this is
I was
yeah.
IROC. That's how he
That'd be
introduced me.
big. Yeah,
Which is
that's-
cool, right?
That's not the tire changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the tire changer's wrong.
But the one thing he found after the fact, he was a short track guy
Yeah.
coming up and by heart, and they thought they built the cars as even as possible. But after his many, many years in Cup, he realized, a crush panel, slight change in a
Just
crush,
a little
any
bit,
little thing at those big tracks, the IROC was
Especially
racing
at
at,
like a Michigan
it made
or
a
Talladega,
difference.
yeah.
When they thought they were all even,
Yeah.
maybe they weren't. So he wanted the 2 things he wanted to run short tracks.
Yep,
where
which
we
is
didn't
great,
run
which is the best thing you do.
anywhere fast enough where
No.
aero come into play.
Yep.
And he didn't want aerodynamics of the body to really be a factor in the outcoming of a race.
Right.
And if you look at it, it's got the big wing on it, but if you look at it, It doesn't have a bunch of angle
No,
cranked in it.
right.
It doesn't have a, it's
But-
more of aesthetics.
So the car,
It's aesthetics and it's far enough away.
From-
So anybody who knows anything about wings, and like when we had the wings on the COT cars, those were way too close to the deck lid,
Right.
way too close to the window.
Stupid.
That wing that's up in the air and back, like on a Dodge Daytona, is more effective, just like it would be on a dragster.
Got it.
Okay, if you think about a wing on a dragster, that's you got to get it away from the car, away from the wake for it to work.
Got it.
And like you say, there's not a lot of angle in it. There's not a lot of pitch in it, but it helps a little
Got it.
at them speeds. I love it.
Everything I was always taught coming up in the winter, even like on a late model car, you have to be running at a minimum of 75 miles per hour
Yeah.
for your spoiler angle on a late model
Right.
to make any difference where you have it at.
got it.
Period. So,
So Ryan Clark, I have to read this.
you know,
He says, feel free to change the series name because my autocorrect always changes from SRX to SCX. So this is X. And my buddies are starting to think I've got issues.
okay, now,
I just wanted to read that. We don't have to go any further than that.
no, that's it. I've had that same problem. I'm feeling pain. I've only actually sent a text message with sex in all caps one
Right.
time.
Okay, got it.
And luckily it was to a close enough friend that it really didn't matter. But
Well, good luck, buddy. You're on the pole. That's great to hear.
I don't think it's autocorrect. It's
Yeah.
R and the E are right.
Yeah, I
it's
get
a
it.
thumb thing.
I never thought of. Mary Stevens, do you know if there'll be any changes to the car's design in 2022 to further differentiate an SRX from a late model?
I mean, I think they're pretty differentiated
Yeah.
right now between the late model. I don't see any big
Yeah.
changes. The changes we have looked at and talked about
Right.
are subtle, just for design, not to tear up body panels
Yep.
as much when they
Oh,
get
yeah.
hit in the back.
Yeah.
Not to, or there might be a slight change in the hood louver area just to facilitate
Okay.
sponsor placement, but no big changes.
So you're building these cars, and I'm following along, and you have like 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden you show pictures in the shop, and you have like 15, 16.
Yeah, you went from 1 to like
Boom! It was like bunny rabbit.
1 to like
yeah.
12 or 15, like
So
overnight
you're
it
building
seemed
those.
like.
So now you have guys building them, and when they started announcing the drivers. What was it like for you knowing you've got like all these different drivers from all these different
Right.
series, and you have Indy 500 winners and champions and Cup champions and multiple Cup champions, and
That
I get goosebumps just thinking it's like just walk into a room and like holy sh.
Right.
Cool.
Well, I mean, and that's the cool thing about it.
Right.
It is literally the superstar racing
No.
experience.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all big names from different racing disciplines. Working with them or talking to them or having them come in didn't make me nervous.
Good.
When I got nervous was, okay, I've got to schedule and figure out how I'm going to get seat inserts and seat fittings and
Okay.
cockpit sittings
All right.
scheduled for
Yeah.
all these guys,
Right.
right? Because they're all racing and doing different things. And it was,
Or
we were on a-
commentating or whatever.
we were on a short time frame. It was
Very
coming
short.
down
Yeah.
to the
yeah.
wire.
Oh, yeah.
Announce your
It got
schedule.
very,
You didn't have
very-
car-
yeah.
You announce your schedule. You didn't have cars yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got pictures on my cell phone. February, at the beginning of February, there was nothing in our shop.
I saw
but
that
my
picture.
toolbox,
Right.
the one guy I had hired, and 2 Miller welders. That was all that was in the whole shop.
All right, so when you're coming to the first race and all of a sudden the crowd shows up and the interest is building and people are talking, and your social media team and your promotional team did a phenomenal job because I don't work on cars.
That's what you do.
That's my deal. I was like, damn, that's really cool, and they were doing such a good job, and I'm like, I hope this really goes because I really want to see it. And all of a sudden you start going to the first few races and the people go nuts for it.
I think, one, it was the whole idea, the way Ray
Put it together.
Put it together.
And put it out there.
put it out there.
Yeah.
It was something, one, that all the fans were craving.
Yep. Something different for sure.
Short track.
It was different. It was going to the short tracks.
Yeah.
It was the way the show came out. It was not a lot of
2 hours.
It's
Yeah.
not a lot of fluff. It's not a lot of extra. It was to the point. 2 hours filled with racing, a lot of
Yeah.
beating and banging and racing with the best of the best.
Right.
I don't think it didn't disappoint. The fans
No.
really had no
Well,
thing to complain about.
So I'm
And the few things they did after the first race, just let me add this in. The few things they complained about after
Great
the first
change.
race, We listened,
Yep.
Ray listened,
Yep.
and they went
Yes,
and changed them.
yeah.
I think that's the big key.
You know, the tires became an issue at that first race, right? You know, this guy wrecked, he got a flat, whatever. I don't remember it exactly, but there was some tire things, and I'm like, he's shooting from the. I love the fact that he tried to shoot from the hip
Yeah, had to.
during the thing,
OGT,
and to fix it. You know, to say, well, this is what we're going to do to fix it. This guy's going to get
Ray's
this. and,
big deal was
you know,
from the
I
get-go,
mean,
he wants those 12
He
stars
tried to
to
keep
start
it
that
even.
feature.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
He did.
first race we went to,
Perfect.
Biffle junked his car in the heat race.
yeah,
So he says, you know what, we're going to get in the backup car.
Perfect.
And there was kind of just some discrepancy on social media on the
Oh.
lap count of the tires, and they were within 10 laps.
Whatever,
Of the
whatever.
guys on the track.
Right.
It really was not that.
Well,
But Biffle got in the backup car. They were cool though.
Right.
They weren't hot like everybody else.
Right.
So he had that advantage. But he came from the back and drove up to second. Yeah, I think he led maybe for a little bit.
Right.
Had a chance of winning the
Right.
thing in the backup car. But what better story? What better
yeah.
drama?
Why not?
What other series can you watch where a guy can crash his car, jump in something else, and still get a race?
NASCAR in like 2005 at the
It's like on a video game,
Yeah.
hit reset, right, and you get to go
Right.
again.
Yeah.
so the other thing is like, first they were like, "Oh, feature's gonna be 100 laps." I'm like, "Too long. Let's go 50." And there's people, "Oh, I paid for 100 laps." And you paid to see a race, you moron. Just go away.
Easy.
And the other, well, I'm just saying, these people are bitching. And then it was like, "Oh," and you like, you know what? They're too spread out. Throw a caution. Mm-hmm. Oh, these cautions. I'm like, folks, you're watching a 6-race series. It's all for fun. Yeah, there's a champion. There's points and everything. But why not? I mean, I was a track promoter. There was nice. I wish I
Right.
could have thrown the caution and say, "This race stinks. Let's throw a caution, bunch them back up, and let's go." But you did it. Like, no, they're too far out. Perfect. And it was like, that's awesome.
And I give that credit to Ray too.
Yeah.
That was one of the things he said from the get-go. We are not in the racing series business. This
Exactly.
is not a racing series competing
No.
against
No.
other racing series.
Yeah.
This is a motorsports entertainment show.
Perfect. And you
Absolutely.
guys
And that's-
knocked it out of the park.
What he wanted it to
Yeah.
be, so that's how he put it out there and directed it all. And part of that is race fun flag.
Right.
If the racing gets spread out or going,
And I did see you
race
running
fun
around
flag.
like a chicken with your head cut off to each car now.
Okay.
Now that, because I'm, it's coming back. I'm like,
So,
this is the guy that had to go to this car, Michael's tore up, and this guy's tore up, and this guy's tore up. And you have a lot of
every week, right?
you have a lot of young,
All
you
Tracy
have a
got
lot
to
of
talk
young
about
guys
that.
working for you.
Yep. Yep.
Because when I first watched it, I'm like, all right, well, I think I recognize that guy. He might have been a truck driver, and I might have seen that guy, but the rest of these guys they're kids,
Right.
man, and you're having to
Yeah.
take care of them.
so you guys would go. You guys were gone for 6 weeks, weren't you?
We left before the first race and never came back.
So you guys
Really?
would show
We
pictures.
stayed
Of
out,
your
yeah.
set up at the track. You're working on the cars, and you. What you did is you took people behind the scenes and saying, "Hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what we have going on." It's not we're just showing up, and very few people are going back and forth. But then your drivers would show up. Now I got a question. Paul Tracy, was he that much of a weapon, or was it just he just wanted to?
Is it just a show?
No, I don't. Go ahead.
It's not just a show.
It's-
Here's the I don't know if I should say the bad part about it.
No.
But the guy's fast. Everywhere we went,
Mhm.
the guy was fast. He has talent.
obviously, what he's done.
He puts himself into some positions a lot of times that he shouldn't. His temper gets the best of him a lot of times. He became the bad guy, deservedly so.
Right.
Yeah.
But he accepts it and he plays the part. It was
He
not, early on I seen some comments on social media,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is scripted."
No.
Trust me, none of this was scripted at all. And
Who's
you can
that?
ask the guy, all my guys that we had to rebuild and fix this stuff every week, none of this was scripted.
Yeah.
You can ask the people that were ready to wring his neck after the races, it was not scripted. It's just, that's been his MO his whole
And that's
racing career.
his passion.
He
But
raced from
he's been like,
Right.
he's
He
been
was
like
always
that.
fast, but he
Yeah.
tore up stuff,
Yeah.
right?
That's
He was always
Yeah.
on the ship.
Yeah.
Crap with somebody.
Guys that's their passion. That's the way it is.
So the best thing I saw, and this was pure genius, whoever came up with it, when the cops brought him out at IRP in handcuffs, and they pull up and they let him out, and the crowd went crazy, like yeah, and he just acknowledged it, like he took his role.
Yeah.
He didn't try to walk away from it. He owned it and said, "Yep, let's go out there." And the fact that he agreed to do it shows that you're a 6-race series, pure entertainment. We're gonna have some fun. But when you put the helmets on, they strap in. It's time to go.
Right.
They were racers.
I mean, I think that it was IRP.
IRP.
Elio he was ready to fight 2 drivers after this.
And here's the other question was the
And that's a
nicest
500.
Stand on a ladder to
I
do
mean,
it.
the guy
Julio's like my size.
4-time Indy guy.
If you guys, everybody thinks this is scripted. I mean, he was
wants-
pissed off. He
He
was
wants to
mad.
whip ass over the SRX Series. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like they're racers.
At the end of the day, it's for fun.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
not as much money as they might win, and
But they're
they're
competitive.
racers.
Yeah.
They strap that helmet on and the green flag flies.
Right.
They all want to win.
And we all, I'll say it like this. We all know, we go to a go-kart track, and it's a fun day, right?
Starts out
So
there.
we're going to all go to this go-kart track. It's a fun day.
It's all fun and games till somebody gets flipped over.
Right, we're going to be beating and banging on each other
Right.
and MFing each
Yeah,
other
sure, yeah.
until the end of the day. And, you know, I mean, I've had Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon tell me after the, you are so hard to pat. Why didn't you let me by? I'm like, just go around me.
I thought this was a race.
Right.
You're supposed to just pull over. That's right.
Letting you go.
Anything's taking place in the birthday room, okay? There's cake and ice cream in it, and hot dogs. Okay, speaking of, we're not going to take it. So you, tell us about your family. You mentioned your daughter, her name is?
Kendall,
Okay, how old is she?
she just turned 16,
Gosh.
and it was a cool deal. She actually spent almost the whole road trip SRX with me. It was
I
the summer
she
break.
took a bunch of pictures, and a lot
Cool.
of times she was funny, like she would smile. Other times she's act like she didn't want to be there.
Yeah,
Another time,
she
you
no, she really kind
But
of. So
she-
she was raised in a racing family
so
where
she played along. It was good.
you know, it kind of wore her out, right? Because that's
Yeah,
all
my
she heard
kids
about.
hate
home.
it too.
She didn't like it that much, but she came along as a
Carolyn,
summer
paying
thing,
attention?
and she worked with the marketing department
Yep.
and actually worked
Really?
and helped out,
Good.
and she loved it and had a great summer experience. So
Good.
me and her traveled almost every day except 5 days throughout the whole 7 weeks. We were together in the motorhome together, so
Okay.
it was awesome.
And your wife,
My wife Allison, she's
also in racing.
also in racing. She was Kenny Wallace's business manager, worked at Junior Motorsports, which led to going to work for Danica Patrick
Okay.
personally and handling her affairs, and now runs her own marketing and
Nice.
management company. So
Good.
she was able to come along. She does a lot in the dirt racing world. Her maiden name's Marshall, so the Clausen Marshall. Her cousin is
Oh,
Richard
okay.
Marshall.
Oh, okay.
Clausen Marshall.
Oh,
and
oh,
so
well,
now
Ryan.
Junior
Sorry,
Motorsports.
Allison, all these
Yep.
years
Yeah.
I didn't know that
Yep.
connection. Okay.
So that's that whole
Got
connection. So all the dirt racing stuff, that's how all that fits together.
Okay.
She
So
was
speaking of
along.
Allison, and you have a son.
My son Colt, who
Okay.
is 8 years old, and he's a racer.
Mm-hmm.
He raced 2 years of quarter midgets, and now we've been running the outlaw carts at Millbridge and
Nice.
other places.
Does he got it? You think he's got it?
Man, I tell you what, the kid fired off like he had the talent, and he had just the natural and racer's instinct
Right.
that all the other kids didn't. But he's also a heck of a baseball player.
Got the backup plan.
Well, so, the time I was kind of a truck crew chief and having to travel, we didn't get a race as much.
Right.
Maybe the last year or so.
That's tough, and people got to realize that in the family.
So he just doesn't have the laps the last year and a
Right.
half that some of these other kids have been
Right.
putting in. So
Okay.
we fell under the curve,
Okay. But it's there.
So we go to Millbridge. Just to throw this out there,
Oh, it's fine.
his class, he's in the beginner, box stock beginner class. He races against Kyle Busch's kid, Clint Boyer's kid, Kyle Larson's kid, Kevin Harvick's kid. There's more. Kelly Earnhart's kid.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
We're racing, and they're putting in 100 laps a week, practicing and testing, and
Right.
so it's tough.
Well, it's all right.
But that's what makes the kids out of this region the best of the best. They
Right.
travel and they win. But
Speaking of Allison,
And I always say it like this: if you're just a little bit underfunded because you know what they're spending, and your kid's beating them or keeping up with them, you know you got a good shoe.
right.
You know?
Yep.
So speaking of Allison Colt, she says Colt wants to know if Ryan likes running outlaw carts with him at Millbridge better or running quarter midgets at NCQ MMA.
She wants to know that.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just reading the question.
Because if it was up to my wife and my son, I would sell the quarter midget and we
Yeah.
would never go run it because they both absolutely love dirt track racing.
Okay.
That's all they want to do.
Follow-up question from the lovely Allison Marshall McKinney. What's your favorite dirt track?
I'm going to have to say Eldora.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
it's a spectacle. Any race you've ever
Yes.
go and watch there, it put on a great race for our SRX Series. It was one of the best races
Yeah.
we had. I mean, it's just amazing.
Jessica Nichols, yes, you're late, and we have docked your fanship over this, okay?
Who?
Jessica Nichols? Mule
No,
Foot?
we ain't docked.
She said I'm late. Hi,
She
friend.
might want to be your co-host.
Oh, yeah. No, oh, yeah, speaking of.
Me and Mule are going to be.
All right, speaking of, just give us a second. So next week, Warren's not going to be here. You're going to be.
I'm going to be at a test in Daytona with Gen 7 car.
Oh, are you allowed to say that?
I am allowed to say
So when he
that.
comes
It's
back,
not
we're going to get the
secret
scoop.
No, because everybody's going to be there.
Okay.
So here's the deal. I don't have a co-host next week. I don't have a guest either. But maybe the co-host and the guest can be one and the same. This week we're going to put out, we want to know who you would like to have sitting over here in the co-host. And you
Right.
don't have to drink as much beer as
No.
Warren. You know, one or
But
two.
you can drink all my beer you want if you do.
That's fine. Okay.
Maybe Jess Nichols will come with you.
You know what? I have offered to have her and Joey Logano's wife on, and she bailed on it. That's okay.
Okay.
You know what? To have a female co-host was
It
great.
would
We
be
had to find
great.
a guest. That'd
I'm
be
sure
good.
my wife would do it anytime you
Ooh,
needed to.
boy.
There you go.
She has
Yeah.
filled in for Aaron Evernham on the Wing Nation
Okay.
podcast several times.
All right.
So
All right.
anytime
Well,
else, I give her
well,
a
we'll
shot.
put it out there.
And
We'll
I'll
see how-
come back anytime.
Well,
Hey,
no, that's good.
I love,
Where do you live? How far do you live from her?
15, 20
Oh, that's
minutes.
good.
I'm just curious.
We'd love to have you back.
Jessica Neal says you were studying. Whatever you're studying, that's good. By the way, our buddy Jody Barenhart, she says she
How we
wants to know if
doing?
you're sitting on you're sitting on a phone book.
Me?
Yeah, if you're sitting.
No,
on a phone
I just got him on a little chair.
That's it.
Myself and
Well,
So, how are we doing on time?
We're
'Cause I got
good.
a couple more questions
Okay,
for
we have 8 minutes. Go ahead.
you. Okay.
Wait,
Has-
call the producers.
I'm sorry
They're
my
fine.
answers take so long.
No, that's fine. I know you've been wonderful.
has
It's awesome.
anybody, so I thought of this, has anybody, in the shower this morning, has anybody thought of trying to brand you guys? Has Chevrolet come to you, or Toyota, or Ford? And you don't have to tell me if they did, or who it is. You could, what I'm looking at is your, obviously there's no brand on the car. And you guys are pretty successful, I thought. And you figured somebody would want to, hey, let's get a blue oval on there, or let's get a bow tie on there,
So, I think the first year nobody approached us, right?
Right.
Because we were unproven.
Sure.
It was hard,
Wait
right?
and see, yeah.
Now we've proven ourselves, but that talk has come up.
Yeah.
Ray purposely didn't brand it as
You
a
just
specific
kept it generic car.
Totally
Yep.
genius.
vehicle because at the end of the day, if we brand it with a brand, it has to be enough money because that's going to
Mhm.
Right.
that's exclusivity. It's going to cut out a bunch of different sponsors
And or
Yeah.
drivers. And or drivers.
and drivers. That's
Yeah.
the other part, right? So all this has to be taken into
Yeah, yeah.
consideration.
So,
If we're
but when you say
Chevrolet,
that,
say,
Right.
maybe the Ford drivers won't get permission to come drive the
but
series.
come
so
on,
it's-
I mean,
Just think about
You know
it.
how the racing world works.
look at IROC. In IROC, Dale drove a Dodge Daytona, and
Yeah.
I mean, them IROC
Contracts were different back then.
They were.
too.
They were.
Now they
Because
got
you
you.
weren't necessarily tied to the
Right.
to the brand,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Okay.
I get it.
It's not a. I'm not saying, hey, any major manufacturer out there that wants to give us a call, give us a call. It's not right.
They're watching us.
I'm just saying, it has to be a pretty big check.
I'm going to crap myself.
First for us to cover all this.
First of all, be our sponsor. Then whatever you have left over, you can go to those guys.
Company cars.
We'll take the two. We just need $3 a month. That's all.
We're looking for free beer.
$300 a month. That's all we need. Oh my god.
All right, that
But
was
it's a
good.
different time we live in. That's the
It
truth.
is.
But so
Right,
what's
yeah.
another good question?
God,
You forgot.
I did because I'm laughing.
Back to the shower. What else did you
I didn't want to bring that up. That's what I was saying.
Okay, branding. That's really, I guess, all I got.
Well, that was-
Are you guys carbureted, or is it
It's so we run our engine package is the Elmore, same
is
as
it like a truck?
truck and the
Okay.
Arca Series runs. It's throttle body,
Throttle
it's
body.
injected,
Because I know fans are probably gonna, people want to know
really
that,
bulletproof.
right?
real-
Coil packed,
Yep,
like a LS1 motor.
yep. LS based.
So I'm going to ask you just longevity. I mean, you've had a great successful. Your ratings were phenomenal. 1.3 million, 1.1 million. I'm like, good on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and you were up against all kinds of.
I'm pretty sure. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm pretty sure we were number 2 in motorsports
Yeah.
every weekend
Yeah, you were.
for a startup series. That's
No, I mean it's phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you had CBS Sports. Yes, it was broadcast. Yes, but that's okay. You had all that backing, but you still had to go out there and put that product on the track to have fans go, "Wow, this is really cool." And I noticed as it went, it built, and you sold out so many.
I remembered my question.
Look, I can tell. I know how to call 911 or what. Okay.
More races,
So
any bigger tracks,
that's none of that is in stone.
Okay.
From what Ray said.
Right.
I think you would see, and this is just my thoughts.
It
on
would-
it. None of this is
everything we see
We're
on
not
God's table race.
I
is
think you might see a
speculation.
few more cars, racers in the field
Okay.
before you would see more races.
Okay.
Okay.
So Dad from
But all that can change. You know, it's
well, Tony said publicly he'd like to see a road course in there.
right.
Yeah.
And that was we wanted to get it in the first year
Sure.
and just wasn't able to make it
Yeah.
happen. That's always been the thought. Road courses, dirt, ovals, asphalt ovals. So
My Aunt Steph, we will miss you, Warren. He's not going to jail or going to the hospital.
Going
He's
to Daytona.
He's going to Daytona to test. That's
Which
all.
I could go to jail. No.
If, yeah, well,
No, we're staying right across the street from the track. I'm gonna have to
Well, the time
go
that I
back.
went testing,
Right.
we were late.
Right.
Yeah, we were
No
late
food to the shark.
No, the
Shark's closed.
Shark's closed. Grandview. Anyhow, all right. So I just think it's phenomenal what you guys took from a bare shop with two welders, you and a guy in your toolbox. I remember seeing the picture and God, I can pull this off. And everything you've done. I mean, so you as the director of competition, there has to be, when this is all said and done, after 6 weeks, you sat down, you got home, you sat in your couch or your chair,
Right.
you took a breath and said, holy shnikes, we did it.
yeah.
Or did you have to wait until after the season was over to go,
I mean, I did, you know, because on the road we didn't get a break. I think, you
Yeah.
know, a shout out. One of the things I'm most proud about. I thought for sure when we left for that first race and we were going to be gone 7 weeks, there'd be some fallout. We would lose 2-3 guys
Right.
at minimum, right?
right?
But if you hire racers,
We never lost a single
so I was gonna say,
person.
you're not gonna hire racers.
And we went back and looked at it. If you take out Sunday as the travel day from traveling from whatever track to the next track, you take that out. The guys had 2 days off.
Right.
We
Nobody complained.
And they're not at home though. They had 2 days off.
They might have complained a little bit, but
Right.
Sure.
they all dug in and we got it done
Right.
and we put the show on.
Kind of like dirt racing, what you did there, you know,
Yeah.
or drag racing or motocross racing, where you're just gone.
Yep.
You know.
Great group of guys.
Dan Lynch goes, who allowed the Buffalo Bills banner in Warren's bar? Hey Dan, first of all, this is my chair. This is mine. Okay, so I was allowed to put it up.
Look
He's
what I
got-
did.
He's got his backers there. I'm not going to bring up the preseason game where his team scored this many points because it was preseason.
Preseason.
William Collins says the reason the ratings were so high, everyone was tuning in to make sure Cool Breeze's hair was done and taking bets he didn't have a hair out of place. All good, brother. Ha.
He's got pretty good hair.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from two
Two-
hair
two-
guys.
two guys that-
My old tire carrier. He's my
Okay.
tire carrier.
How many employees did you have once you left on that 7-week
Yeah.
journey?
Not enough.
It's a good
Okay,
question.
how many
That's
did you,
the other thing.
How many
So,
had when you took off?
You take out me and above. You take out
Right.
management and
Right.
marketing and all
Right.
those people.
Right.
18 people that physically work
18
on it.
people
For
for
12 cars.
16 cars.
16 cars, 2
16
backups there.
cars.
And
So we had 3 practice cars that they ran in each week. The drivers all practiced them first,
Okay.
then ran their cars. So we kept up with that many cars with 18 people.
God,
It's
amazing.
not enough.
Amazing.
We made it happen.
Well, you know what? I want to thank you. You're the bell tolling there. I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man.
appreciate y'all having me.
we were behind it the whole time. We talked about
I
it a
knew
lot.
this was going to be good.
We talked about it, and I just think first of all to just take. We're going to create a series, and you did it. And I mean, yeah, you had some good backing behind you, but you still had to put a product on the track.
Right.
And once you put that product on the track, I mean, the average fan at home doesn't care what it took to get there. I don't mean that in a bad way.
They don't
Yeah,
know.
They don't know, but they don't know because like, oh, what's on the
They
track?
want instant
Who's racing?
gratification.
Right.
And the tickets sold, and you brought in. And the other thing I really love, you brought in a local racer and let him be a hero for a night.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really paid off.
That part was
Yeah.
really, really cool,
Yeah.
really good.
I
I,
mean,
like
Doug
the crew
Covey-
chief part
yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I like
that-
that. I like. We like the fact that our good friend Johnny Benson, who's been on our show 3
Oh, our
times,
pace car driver.
drive the hot rod.
And that didn't come up. Everybody loved the pace car. That was a big hit. I spiked coolers.
I went and had
Hot rod.
a couple Kool-Aids
Yeah.
with Johnny last week. He was like, it was tough to see the hood. And it was like, what? And the whole thing. It was like,
Yeah.
but everyone loved it. It was so cool.
It was
I like,
stressful. He did
yeah.
a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, but he said it was just cool to like, but everyone loved it. They took it places and you know, he said I went to get it washed one time, no points on it, but it was just the fun stuff. That just, like, hey, we're rolling into town. But no, I want to thank you, man. This has been great.
Yes.
and I appreciate it.
Thank you
for
very
sharing.
much.
No, thank
I'm
you guys
gonna
for
wear
having
yours.
me.
I hope you wear yours once in a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
But cheers,
Cheers.
continued
Cheers
success.
again.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you.
Congratulations
Hope to
to
come
you.
back again. Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
We'd
personally
love to have you back.
for what you accomplished with a lot of people around you. There you
Appreciate
go.
it. Thank
Hope
you.
you
All
had
right,
fun.
looking for a guest host. Warren's could be gone next week. Testing with the Gen 7. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
let's
Get
see.
Nichols.
Good show. Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, Warren, how about Beaker being a track manager in South Carolina? Okay. Jody,
What?
Jody, you have a lot of free time on your hands. But, okay, anyhow, hope your wife's doing better. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Check out our website, merchandise, all that great stuff, and we'll catch you next week. Wow. Hey, another great show.
Great
Thank you
show.
so much, everybody, for tuning
Enjoyed
in.
it.
We appreciate it. We do this every Tuesday night, and Warren, I think the guests we've had have been fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And the people that are following us, we appreciate it. We're reaching 42,000 people a month. Can you believe that? And we appreciate you watching. And
Right. We're having fun. Hope everybody else enjoys it.
that's it. And it's just a fun show. Bucket of beer, guys sitting around talking about it. So keep tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out our store and everything. But we appreciate you people, and we will see you next week. Right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next week.